It's time! It's time!
It's time for the Wrestling Observer Extra.
Wrestling Observer Extra.
The moment you've all been waiting for. The undisputed, most diabolical villain in the world.
With Dave Meltzer, right here on The Law. Live audio wrestling.
Hour 2 of The Law is up. Dave Meltzer coming up right now. Dave, we know you haven't seen Battleground, so let's stick to things that happen to pop up this week. The name Brock Lesnar has been thrown around. So let's start there, Dave. A lot of rumors that he jumped back into the USADA testing pool, but those are not true as of yet, correct?
Well, from what I understand, he's going to jump in. I don't know if he, what the official thing was. I was actually told that he was in. It came out that he had not asked to be put in, but he's supposed to be, he's got to go in soon because there's a time frame. It's a 5-month time frame, and they want him to fight in December. So that's what the deal is. So he's got to be in within the next couple of weeks, or he's not going to make that. He's got 5 more months of his suspension based on when he retired. So he's got to be in the testing pool 5 months before the late December pay-per-view, which is the target date for him to fight.
Okay,
so
Dave.
There's definitely fire to the smoke, yeah.
Okay, so where's the smoke and fire coming from? Is it Lesnar wanting to do this, or has UFC approached him?
Well, UFC wants it because UFC's having a bad year, and from what I'd heard a couple of weeks ago, they wanted Ronda Rousey back, and they want Brock Lesnar. They want another a Conor McGregor fight this year. I mean, they need they got a budget, and this year's been terrible. I mean, that's the only way to put it. So. Yeah, they want some drawing power for the end of the year because obviously so far this year it hasn't happened.
And so is Vince going to go for this?
Man, I don't know. I guess Vince dodged the bullet last time, or however you want to put it. It came out all right. So I don't know. They made a deal with Vince the last time, so I guess they feel they can make the deal with him this time.
Interesting, though, Dave, because, you had that match happen with Mark Hunt, and then it came out afterwards where he failed the drug test. And, I mean, that doesn't necessarily look good on the WWE.
No, not at all, especially because they don't test him. And
exactly.
That was the weirdest thing. But, I think the big thing is that now what happens in April when his contract is up. I mean, he'll be almost 41. Going back to MMA at almost 41 sounds like a bad idea. Of course, we said the same thing a couple of years ago, and he did end up fighting at least once. He's going to – I sense with Lesnar, he's going to play it to – he's going to play both sides. And in the end, people are going do you really think he's going to leave wrestling? And my answer is no. He's making too much money wrestling. He's got a great schedule, but, he'll listen to all offers and he can make, if he gets hot and everything, he can make millions of dollars in one night in a fight, which he can't do as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm. And, Brock is a draw on his own, but some of it is dependent on that opponent. If you're looking at December and you're the UFC, who's standing across the octagon from Brock?
Well, I think that we'll have a better idea of that after Saturday because their idea is John Jones.
Really?
Wow. Yep. Interesting.
Yep. That's the name that I was told. So, of course, John has to beat Daniel Cormier. If John doesn't beat Daniel Cormier, then maybe Stipe Miocic. I don't know. But Jones is definitely the guy. And from their standpoint, okay, I think that makes the most sense because their goal right now is to make superstars. And of all the guys on the roster, John Jones, with the exception of Conor, John Jones is the one who has the most potential to be a superstar with all of his flaws because he's a great fighter. He's only 30 years old. And what bigger coronation is if he can beat Brock Lesnar?
That would be an amazing fight.
It is,
and that's a real money fight.
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
It is. That's got to be so tough for UFC though to put all your faith. If let's just say you have Daniel Cormier lose, John Jones comes back, triumphant victory, and then you're putting so much faith in this guy who has such a terrible track record.
Absolutely. But when you're desperate, but it's like. How many times have you seen guys? We saw it with GFW TNA, right? With Alberto. Yeah. It's like you cling on to that guy. I mean, the baggage, but you just go, it's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. And with John, and if he burns them again, I mean, they deserve it because, it's like, how many warnings do you need?
That's right.
You know, every time he says he's grown up, it's like, has he grown up?
Well, that's it. Like Dave, even last night when they were previewing the show and they did that interview with him and Cormier, and he just kind of was very aloof and then just gets up and kind of walks away at the end.
That was really weird watching that because that was not John Jones, because usually John Jones is going to be out there goofing. So somebody got him in like a really bad mood.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it was, because there was nothing that Cormier said to him that should have ticked him off like that. But for whatever it was, yeah, you know, he came off like a baby.
Like, like obviously, I think before the interview, something like you say, something must have been bugging him. But there's a prime example right there of you just never know what to expect from this guy.
No, it can happen at any time, and you don't even know what it's going to be when it happens, but it just happens over and over again.
Yeah.
Next week, of course, is 214 Jones Cormier. Does Daniel Cormier have a chance? Because I got to tell you, if there's one fight where I've ever rooted for a guy more, actually, I just don't think there is. I really would love to see Daniel Cormier just hammer John Jones.
You know, there's so many people that would, although I bet you that there's going to be a lot of people cheering for Jones, too.
Yep.
It goes both ways.
Yep.
But, I mean, yeah, it's a fight. There's a chance. Daniel Cormier is a great fighter, but the odds are not in his favor. I mean, I think the 38 years old works against him, the first fight. You know, they were both younger in the first fight, and, you know, it wasn't a good fight for Daniel.
What about the weight issues for Cormier, too, right? Like,
That's another one. I mean, I saw him on the show last night.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He looks pretty heavy. He looks pretty heavy already.
Yeah, it worried me. It worried me because he barely made weight against Rumble Johnson.
Yeah.
That's another issue. What if he can't make weight? Then that's a disaster, because this is the UFC's biggest fight of the year.
Right.
And, you know, it's fallen. Last time it fell through because it was John Jones's fault. But, yeah, I know Daniel looked too big to me that's 6 days out.
That's it. He looks
days out.
Yeah, it looks to me like he's got a lot of weight to cut before the fight.
But that's not good.
No, it's not.
I mean, the thing with Daniel, since John Jones was gone, he had a tough fight with Alexander Gustafsson, but he won, and he won on guts and all that. But Rumble Johnson fought the stupidest fight in the history of mankind, and you know that's why he beat Rumble, because Rumble just fought like an idiot. I mean, so John's not going to fight stupid, and you know I don't know. I mean, again, things can happen. You know, Chael nearly had a fluke win because John's toe went the wrong way, if you remember.
Yes.
So anything can happen in a fight. Someone can blow out their knee, you know, the whole thing. But yeah, you know, especially in 25 minutes, it's John Jones. A lot of weird stuff can happen in 25 minutes with John Jones, but he's got to be the favorite. Yeah.
Dave, let's flip to wrestling here. Let's get an update on the Paige Alberto situation. Alberto
crazy.
no longer a suspect. Paige now is a suspect. Is Alberto, do you think, going to be reinstated by GFW?
I think so. I mean, it makes sense to do so. You know, that's and it's the right thing to do. The problem is we know is that that was not an isolated incident, and you still got everything built around the guy, and that may not. They may need, like at the next tapings, to start, you know, spreading that wealth around and not build so much around him, and maybe not have that championship on him, because it's a risk. There's just too many weird things that happen with Alberto.
Now that you have Paige tangled up in this, possibly facing charges, do you think that this is the final straw for WWE? I mean, I know they got the movie and such, but so much bad publicity here.
I don't think it is. If there wasn't a movie, I think it would be. But I think that they'll. And I don't know. You know, there's the reality on this one is that she threw a drink on him.
Yeah.
And I don't know that throwing a. You know what I mean? It's like
that's no big deal.
Yeah. But she really, you know, it's not like she came after him with a knife. You know, you got to get rid of her.
Yes.
But you know, and it's not good, because if it was just she threw a drink on him, it's one thing. But I think she's thrown drinks at other people before and stuff. But. You know, she needs to grow up too, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of Alberto, he keeps name-dropping Rey Mysterio on GFW TV. Is there? I know that Rey is up for grabs. Is there a chance he ends up in GFW, or will you think he'll end up back in WWE, perhaps?
You know, I from what I gather, GFW is the more likely of the two scenarios, because I think he wants to keep independent, because if movie things come up, you know, there's a lot of things that could come up with Rey, and if he's in WWE, he can't take those things. And if he's in WWE, he's just another guy lost in the shuffle. If he's in GFW, whatever it's going to be, like he's going to be catered to. So there's advantages to that if he can make money. So I think GFW would be the more likely of the scenarios. But if WWE wants him really bad, he probably should go there. If the money offer is significantly better.
Mm-hmm. Monday night on WWE Raw, we saw the culmination of the hashtag Angle. It's Jason Jordan as the illegitimate child. Did you like it, Dave?
No, I didn't like it. I can deal with it, and maybe I know it may work, it may not. But when it came out, I groaned like the live crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like after all these months of build.
Yeah.
You have this storyline that it could threaten his job and threaten his family, and then you pay it off. It's like, how does this threaten his job?
Yeah, exactly.
Family. It's like the whole build didn't match the payoff.
No.
And to me, that's a negative. When you hype something up like this, and then you deliver something that doesn't make sense within the storyline you've been building. So, didn't like it.
And plus, Dave, I think it's designed to help get Jordan over, but, angles like this rarely get the performers over the way you'd want them to.
It's a tough one. It's really up to the crowd because, I think the odds, he's really good. It could work, but in a situation like this, man, I think that I just feel this is like Drew McIntyre the first time when you put the spotlight on him and it's just not the right thing and the people aren't. I don't know that the people are going to be willing to pretend that Jason Jordan's really Kurt's son, and you're going to have to believe that to make this angle work. I think that there may be some irony of, yeah, let's pretend. But I don't know how, in the long run, that's necessarily a good thing for Jason Jordan.
How do you see it kind of playing out, Dave? Do we get one turning on the other, or it's all a ruse to begin with, or
probably? But you can't do the turn for 6 to 9 months anyway.
Yeah,
right now they've got to. Right now they've got to be father and son, and you've got to shoot an angle, and they got to set up a tag team match down the line with them together for a while where, Kurt should be the one beat up and Jason should be the one to save Kurt as opposed to the other way around, but they may do it in the other direction. And but it's a way to get Kurt. It's a way to get Kurt in the ring, and
right.
If Kurt can pass a physical, and Kurt's return for one match, I think, is a big deal.
All right, Dave, we're going to say goodbye this week, but what is coming up in the Observer?
Tons of coverage of G1. There's my story on UFC and their television negotiations. I'm trying to do a story on Brody.
Nice.
Documentary.
Oh, I have to see that. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it, Dave?
Oh, I love the documentary. I loved it.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
And, just sorting out whatever the main event's going to be for SummerSlam, because I got a feeling tomorrow night they've got to announce the main event for SummerSlam, and which looks to be a four-way now.
Yep, it does indeed. Well, Dave, we know you haven't seen tonight's Battleground, so we will say to you, enjoy it.
I have gotten texts, and I was told that driving in your car is going to be much more entertaining than watching Battleground.
You know what? And
That's true.
Oh, it's true, Dave. It's damn true.
We will talk to you.
Man, I got so much G1 to watch, and now I'm going to have to watch 3 hours of that.
That's going to make it worse.
That's part of it. I watched some this afternoon, and that obviously taints your viewing habits.
All right. That's the other thing. I know if you've been watching G1, it's like it changes the sense of pro wrestling right now. So, yeah.
Well, Dave, go ahead and do that, and we'll speak to you next week at this same time. Have a great week.
Okay, have a great week, too.
Dave Meltzer, WrestlingObserver.com is where you can find the newsletter, his podcast, all of his great work is there. Go check it out. It's a great site.